Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group. It's Tuesday, June 24th, 2025. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. Let's dive into the day's top headlines. U.S. Cyber Command played a role in American military's operation against Iranian nuclear facilities over the weekend, according to top Pentagon officials. General Dan Caine, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, told reporters in a briefing at the Pentagon Sunday morning that, quote, the strike package was supported by U.S. Strategic Command, U.S. Transportation Command, U.S. Cyber Command, U.S. Space Command, U.S. Space Force, and U.S. European Command, later thanking the cyber operators, among others, who made the mission possible. However, no further details about Cybercom's efforts were disclosed. The command referred Defense Scoop to the Pentagon for comment, where a spokesperson said they had nothing further to provide at this time beyond the transcript from Sunday's press conference. Although details about Cybercom's assistance for Operation Midnight Hammer, the codename for the strikes, remain murky, experts, most of whom spoke to Defense Scoop on condition of anonymity, outlined a number of possibilities for how the organization may have contributed to the effort. Outside experts noted that there probably aren't any U.S. military ops nowadays, regardless of how rudimentary, where a cyber component isn't involved. Moreover, others pointed out that with such a high-profile operation, many Defense Department components will want involvement in order to prove their value. A former military cyber official noted that a sophisticated operation like Midnight Hammer points to the maturation of Cybercom, which was created just 15 years ago and is now a fully integrated mechanism supporting air superiority and global transportation. The larger operation involved 7 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers that dropped 14 massive ordnance penetrators, 30,000-pound so-called bunker-busting bombs, as well as Tomahawk missiles launched from a submarine, and 125 aircraft that included refuelers and fight jets, some of which were used as decoys to draw Iranian air defenses away from the B-2s. Sources noted that this would probably be a broad effort from Cybercom across several of its elements, spanning the defensive side, offensive side through teams that support combatant commands, and possibly its elite cyber national mission force that protects the nation from nation-state cyber activity. In other news, as the Army seeks to continue its transformation effort to become more efficient, the department's chief information officer is looking to streamline systems and processes. And no longer will "that's the way it's always been done" be an acceptable justification for maintaining the status quo. There have been directives from top levels of Army leadership to cut down on business systems and automate capabilities where possible. CIO Leonel Garcia said last week at an industry event that there is a big push right now from the Secretary and the Chief of Staff to question, quote, do we need all these systems? Why do we have them? Calling some of it really old. Unveiled at the end of April, the Army Transformation Initiative is a top-down effort to improve how the service operates by shrinking headquarters elements, becoming leaner, slashing programs that aren't efficient, and changing how money is spent. The goal ultimately is to cut obsolete programs in systems that don't contribute to success on the modern battlefield. Lieutenant General Carl Gingrich, Deputy Chief of Staff and G8, said, quote, the Army is trying to change as fast as we are seeing the operational environment change as well as the technological environment change. Army Transformation Initiative is actually our response to that and how we can go about doing that. Secretary Dan Driscoll and Chief of Staff General Randy George have both asserted that the Army wants to buy commercial where possible and try to get out of the paradigm of developing long-yielding programs of record, all in an effort to speed capability to field. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, make sure to visit fedscoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, as always, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.